Welcome to Piper Serica podcast, where we explore bold investments, disruptive startups, and technology shaping tomorrow. I'm Hardik, and today we are diving into one of the exciting new investments at Piper Serica Angel Fund. For those joining for the first time, Piper Serica is a multi-asset management firm. Among our offerings is a Cat 1 VC fund with a corpus of 300 crore. We invest into ambitious founders building next-generation companies across spend tech, deep tech, including space tech, semiconductor, and AI. At Alpha we don't just follow the trends, we partner with those who are defining the future from first principles. In today's episode, we are speaking with Raghav, founder of Xovian Aerospace, a company building India's first radio frequency nanosatellite constellation to deliver the real time intelligence for sectors like maritime, aviation, defense, and many more. Welcome, Raghav, to the podcast.
Thank you, Hardik, and thank you to the entire Piper Serica team for trusting us and believing in our vision and goals. And yep, so it's a
Perfect.
great day to start with.
Yeah. So, Raghav, before we deep dive into orbital mechanics and RF constellations, take us back to the time when you started the company. What was the original spark behind Sovian and what problems you have identified?
Yeah, so the journey goes back to the time when we were in college. So at that time, I still remember I was in second year of my BTech, and I produced my first research paper into space technology and presented it to ISRO. So I was one of the youngest student to actually participate and present a paper. So the passion to space tech even goes beyond to the time when I was in the ninth standard. So it was always there in my dream, to do something for space technology. When you see stars and galaxies, Milky Way, and things like that. So at that time there was a movie came, so this, and that actually triggered me a lot. So I thought of, getting into engineering, and that's how I felt key through engineering, you can actually enter into space technology, and that's how you can, achieve your dream. So I was in my second year of BTech, and I produced my first research paper, and that was into space tech. And through ISRO, we got a great amount of exposure, support, which is for a student, it means a lot to them. So that's how the journey started. And when I came back, I thought of, sharing this experience and sharing it across to all the students who have been, passionate about different domains, not just only to space tech, but like we know that there is a huge gap between academia and institute. So I thought of, why not we can bridge this gap through helping students, teaching them about what space technology is, what are research papers, how you can generate intellectual property or trademarks and things around that. So that's how we created an online group at that time, and that catered to around 2000 or 3000 people all across India. So we used to discuss, we used to do brainstorming around that. This is what is happening in the industry. So that's how that journey, the absolute, formation, before formation, the foundation was taking place. And during that time, I met my co-founder, Ankit. So he and me, we were sharing the similar vision and plan. And during that time, people used to use Facebook for other purposes, but we were using Facebook for our first space date. So that's how the thing started. And me and Ankit, we, clubbed up, and then we thought of, doing something into space technology. Then came the year 2013, where, as every other BTech student, we have that pressure to, secure a job. So I got my first job in a Faridabad-based company called Escorts Limited. So I was in the procurement department. So that added to my, or I can say that fueled up to my vision, because I was in such a domain where I was able to see both the side of the things, which is one the technology and other how the commercials are involved. Because a procurement department job is more of a tech commercial job in nature. So that's how the thing started. And when the new government, took up its shape in the year 2014, we thought that why not we give it a try. And that was the first time we thought of entering into space domain. And that gave, our first stepping stone into space technology. And from there on, it has been 10 years we are into space industry. And in the year 2019, we thought of venturing through the name Xovian Aerospace. And that's how today we are at a significant milestone of raising $2.5 million, thanks to the investors like you.
Perfect. Since you guys are so passionate about space tech and satellite technologies, so help us, our listeners, understand more about what exactly Xovian do, and how's your working with PES University building the first student satellite has contributed to building a Xovian.
So it was in the year 2016 when PS University actually rolled out their first satellite called PiSat. So obviously, when it is launched in 2016, so work must have been started 2 to 3 years before that. So we got associated with the university, and that time we were in Delhi. So there was one ISRO scientist, Dr. V.K. Agrawal, who was supposed to fly to Delhi to attend some United Nation event. So that's how we got connected to him, and he said that why not you come down to Bangalore and see our facility, and let's see where resonance can be created, and we can get up into aligning both the organizations together. So we flew to Bangalore, and we were very much impressed by the facilities, by the things which these guys were doing, and we thought of why not we join hands with the university and participate in a way that obviously we are not scientists, so we may not be able to get into the nitty gritties of what the absolute subsystems are all about. But our nature of job was again tech commercial in nature, to explore the possible opportunity where these data sets of this satellite can be utilized to different industries. So that's how we got associated with the university. And we found we actually had spent around 2 years of our time extensively talking to different industries, tech experts, space experts about these data sets. And we found that there are some other data sets which the industry is looking around, which unfortunately, since PISAT was an image satellite, which unfortunately image cannot cater around, so we may have to look upon those data sets. So that gave birth to Xovian Aerospace in the year 2019, in the in a view of creating a RF-based satellite infrastructure, and that's how we started the development of our own satellite infrastructure. We in the year 2019 we received our first grant from Nidhi Prayas and Elevate 100, which is Government of Karnataka's initiative for startups who are incorporated in in Bangalore or Karnataka. So these were the first initial days of our journey in Xovian Aerospace to create a proof of concept model that yes, RF is such kind of a unique data solution which can complement to the existing solutions happening all across the industries.
Uh, Raghav, I would love to hear your views on the problem since you have seen this problem very close lens. Like the world's ocean remain largely unmonitored, with $50 billion lost annually to illegal fishing, and aviation still suffering from a 10 to 15 minute tracking delay. Insurance companies almost lost $100 billion annually. So, how does Zobian and specifically the RF technology can solve this problem?
Yeah, so I would like to take you down the memory lane to the year 2016, 17, and 18, when PISET was launched, and again the data sets were image in itself. And we found that the image was unable to cater the needs where the industry is looking upon the solution in real time. And when I talk about real time, it means that we are not witnessing what change has happened. We are witnessing the change which is happening. So there was a huge difference between continuation and tracking the past activities. So with image we can witness what change has happened, but in real time we cannot do it because there were many limitations in the images. Be the size of the image, because it varies from from certain mbs to gbs. Then since the size of image is very high, the processing the processing time goes up. And now we know that since the processing time is going up, you need more powerful satellites to be in the orbit. So that shoots up the cost of the satellite. When it shoots up the cost of the satellite, it falls to the point of unit economics, that how many satellite eventually you can fly in real time. So that puts up a limitation for the entire image based system, because eventually you cannot fly satellites in hundreds where you can get the data in real time, or satellites in 50s. So that limitation still lies, and we we found that this kind of a solution cannot happen through images. And that's so we looked upon the other side of spectrum, because all the images, or if we say that if we want to create, or we want to generate a data out of electromagnetic spectrum, so there are different layers of electromagnetic spectrum, or we can say different parts of the spectrum. So some of the parts are like x-rays, gamma rays, beta rays, which are of no use to us because these are of research applications and medical applications or government things. Second thing is when we talk about the VIBGYOR nature, which is the optical spectrum just after these, restricted spectrums, which again is confined to image data sets, be it your infrared, near infrared, or UV, near UV, or the visible spectrum. Then comes the role of the radio spectrum. So that is the third part, which in fact is quite big enough in nature, which starts from roughly to around 700 megahertz to roughly around 50 to 60 gigahertz. So these are high energy, radio channels, where we find that there is humongous amount of data sets available, but the problem is that no one has catered to such kind of solutions. Second thing, what lies the beauty in the radio spectrum is the size of the data sets is in certain kbs to a max of mbs, which actually adds to the opportunity that with a very simple processor, or with a very lesser cost, you can eventually fly more and more number of satellites, because the processing time will take lesser time amount of time compared to what image is doing. So that's how that excited us to an extent that let's venture into radio based data sets, and let's enter into what radio can actually provide, or radio frequencies can provide. And what we saw that the entire logistics sector, since you mentioned about maritime, so I will be taking a broader view, which is the entire logistics sector. So the entire logistics sector is composed of the radio frequencies, be it your VHF, UHF channels, or S band, or any other channels where they're constantly sending their beacons around. So why not we create such a system which can actually help as a tip and cue kind of an activity, and later on if anyone wants to absolutely look around that whether those commodities or assets are there, then they can absolutely see with high accuracy, provided their satellites are there on top. So because of all these reasons, we find that radio based data sets are much more viable option compared to image based data sets.
Interesting concept, Raghav. You are really building into a deep. So, can you talk more about how the AI native platform works to receive the signal and then convert the raw data into insightful information, and what sort of a customer sort of client segment you are catering to?
Yeah. So I would again would like to answer it in a way. The entire remote sensing, because this all activity comes under remote sensing. The entire remote sensing industry is so fragmented in nature, be it data aggregation, or data collection, or data generation. First of all, even at the very base stage, which is the data generator, the data generators are very less in number. If we google around, we will find a very handful number of companies who are actually collecting or creating data sets. Then comes the role of data aggregators, who are sourcing the data from different agencies and trying to club them together on their systems, and due to which we are able to find the last solution, which is through their data sets you analyze that what are the things that have happened in the remote sensing industry. But the catch in the entire segment lies that if we don't have the data, then how we can create the value out of it? This means that if I don't have a seed, how can I create a tree out of it? So if we don't have the data, nothing can happen. So this was one of the biggest challenge. And now, because of such a fragmented nature of entire infrastructure, when we stitch all these data sets together, so for example, if I want to take the information of Mumbai today, and I want to stitch three informations together, be it localized weather update of Mumbai, then image data set, or we can say be it Mumbai, where you what latitude longitude you are into. Second is your weather related activity, and third where you are headed to. Okay, so one source will provide you with one timestamp, absolute timestamp when the data was being collected of your latitude longitude. Other will be of another timestamp, and another will be of another timestamp. So all these three timestamps will be different in nature. So we extrapolate those data sets to come under a single timestamp. This means we have actually compromised the real versus our assumptions. And that's how we get a compromised data, due to which we see that Google Baba says or IMD says that today it's going to rain, but nothing like that happens because we don't have the data. So with Xovian Aerospace, we are integrating all these data sets under a single roof through our own infrastructure using our proprietary algorithms to club them together in a way that what data we are generating is a 6 time more data set under a single timestamp. Thereby, we are enhancing the accuracy by 90%.
Sounds exciting, Raghav. So this looks quite futuristic. So what's next for Xovian? What should we be watching out for in the next 12 to 8 months?
Yeah, so next 12 to 18 months are quite exciting and fascinating to see that even the next 6 months are very exciting because we are sending our first payload in space, followed by our own satellite, which will be headed from 12 months from now, and then the launch of our own pilots. So these three big milestones are lined up, and so we at Xovian Aerospace are very much excited to send our first payload in space and get the things done. So yeah, so these are the three things which are keeping us awake day and night and creating that adrenaline rush across the entire you know ecosystem of Xovian Aerospace.
Interesting. We'll keep our listeners updated with your progress as well. Like, this was a great conversation with you, understanding the scale of what you are building and the clarity with which you're approaching a complex, undeserved problem. And I agree, when we look at the patterns across maritime, aviation, and defense, and it's clear that RF intelligence, it's just not nice to have. It will be a key layer in global situation awareness. And that's why we align with your vision of not just launching satellites, but of building a critical infrastructure along with an AI native platform for the decade ahead. We are
Yeah.
excited to back you and be a part of this journey from the ground up. We are addressing a critical problem. But for our listeners, I'm curious, what made you choose to work with Piper Serica?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So first of all, I'm very much thankful to Piper Serica, the entire team, and the turnaround time of Piper Serica team, right from the day one to final execution and money in the bank. So it's not just about investing. You have put up the money and that's it. The real game starts after the money, because if you don't have those visionary investors with you who cruise with you in that journey, then it makes no sense, because money you can take it from bank also, but that does not make sense. At a very early stage, you need those right set of investors to actually cruise along with you and share that vision with you, and which we saw when I had a conversation with Ajay and Abhay, and they were so excited to venture into our business, and that's how this all journey started. And what we saw was that how they see Zoom Aerospace 5 or 10 years from now is what we see 5 to 10 years from now. So there is a collective vision across our Piper Serica team and Xovian, which led us that we are in a stage that we see that yes, we are on a road to create something big from this ecosystem. So last but not the least, I'll say that I'm very much thankful to Piper Serica team in understanding how a deep tech industry work, how a space company work, and how we can nurture a space company not just from seed stage to a stage where we see that okay, we have created something substantial out of it. So that was one of the biggest reason to be with Piper.
Thank you, Raghav, for your kind words. That's fantastic to hear, and we are incredibly excited about this collaboration and can't wait to see how Lubin will shape the future of the space tech industry. Thank you so much for your time, Raghav. Looking forward to growing together.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hardik, and thanks to the entire team.